Welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel, everyone. This is Rich making another video on XRP today, as usual. So wherever you are in this vast planet, I hope you're all having a nice day today. I have to start with this from a digital asset investor before we discuss XRP. Crypto is on the verge of leaving the Wild West. Listen to this out. Only the 4 CFTC-regulated assets, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and XRP, are subject to regulation in the cryptocurrency space. But other from that, cryptocurrency has always been a Wild West. Thus, these exchanges are free to behave as they like. The market structure bill, I believe, is the first turning point. It's likely that Loomis's market structure bill will pass. She stated that it is likely to begin around September, before to Christmas. And when they begin to act in such way, the same regulations that apply to TradFi will soon be applied to the cryptocurrency markets. In addition, you can examine tokens like XRP, which have been in circulation for about 9 years, and their inflation has skyrocketed for almost 10 years. As of right now, there are 50 billion tokens in escrow. They throw it out like a ton every quarter. Therefore, it is a crucial issue to consider. However, you shouldn't worry if you can obtain staking returns that exceed inflation. Indeed, it serves as an incentive for online validators. They had to bring up the escrow every time. However, they are unaware of and silent about the fact that Ripple strategically uses such escrow. The majority of those in this field would likewise contend that the majority of that escrow has already been paid for, that the US will receive a portion of it, the BAS, the IMF, and so forth. However, Ripple also wants to turn into a bank. Now consider this, that escrow may be locked up like a huge liquidity pool if Ripple does become into a bank. They may be using that liquidity pool to conduct transactions while everyone is onboarding to the XRP ledger. On-demand liquidity would be supplied by the liquidity pool. Additionally, Black Swan Capitalist discusses how the majority of cryptocurrency will vanish. Listen to this out. The number of projects that would eventually survive was approximately 10 to 15. Additionally, you are discussing the distributed ledger technology, which is the infrastructure. The investment is that. They are interested in that. The leverage and speculative nature of the market are less important, and the noise isn't the problem. It concerns the technologies that add value to the infrastructure. I apologize for that, but I have a phrase that says that it's really simply a matter of studying history when these technologies come up. In fact, it's very fascinating. I know that every time I mention the 1840s, I always look into people's eyes and say, oh my God. But the steam engine was an insane invention. In other words, we could suddenly start using locomotives to travel around the world, and you could begin using machinery and other produced processes. It's an absurdity. 1920s, electricity coming out, etc. Additionally, whenever there are significant technological advancements, you will notice that there is a haze of confusion because people aren't fully aware of them. I also don't understand. Though I'm not sure which of these will actually happen. I can assume that it will be something like, oh, as I mentioned, you have 5, 10, 15 of these that will come out and really shine, and they'll probably be fantastic. You know, projects in 10 years later, everyone asks why we didn't realize it was the one, because we could have all been billionaires. That's the problem though. Where the twin tech emerges, I believe there is a fog. And the real reason for this is that many individuals simply observe that there is interest in this. This is an opportunity to make money. Then all the disgusting things start to appear, which clouds the picture of the new technology and makes it really hard for us to grasp its purpose. But go straight to the heart. What will make a difference? The technologies that lie behind the cryptos are what matter. Don't expect it to be due to Bitcoin or any other name for it. Additionally, there won't be any cryptocurrency involved, and it won't be disregarded. You know, I can assure you that the US government will not permit you to possess Bitcoin or anything else that is going to replace the US. That's right, they won't. And while you claim that people won't be able to, I can assure you that they can. They will simply state that you will be imprisoned if you use it while you are in possession of it. After that, people usually stop, so they are able to. And the technology is the reason behind that. You probably know more about what will be happening than I do, and I'm not sure which technology it is. However, this uncertainty is caused by the technology and the veil surrounding it, which leads to bubbles, and people initially lose money there. However, those who can determine which of them are truly going to be profitable will be the ones who stand to gain the most in the long run. The range was from 10 to 50, and for that reason you invest in XRP since you are making an investment in the future. You have a stake in the technology that will transfer global wealth. Because Bitcoin operates on a belief system, you don't invest in something that does. It's the conviction that the price will keep rising until it stops rising altogether. Then all of a sudden, your money disappears along with the belief system. However, if you're interested in technology, and note how he mentioned electricity and the steam engine, it's because we're living through an industrial revolution. We are living through the fourth industrial revolution currently, and when you invest in XRP, you're already involved in it. XRP will be the main beneficiary of this industrial revolution, along with a few other cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin is already headed toward prominence. With the emergence of a new financial system, it will not be significant in the near future, not abandoning it in favor of new technologies. And that's what's happening at the moment. Even Swift is afraid of XRP when it comes to FUD on the platform, you know. According to a prominent Swift executive, XRP is not resilient if it survives the case. And their chief innovation officer is saying this. According to him, shared governance is not resilience neutral, since institutions don't want to live on the same rails as their rivals, and compliance isn't about one business persuading authorities that it should be permitted to exist. It's about a whole industry coming to a consensus on common standards that are independent of any one balance sheet. The issue with Swift is this: they were free to debate and say whatever they wanted. Ultimately, they are quite afraid of XRP and Ripple. For this reason, they are currently doing trials using Ripple, which I believe they have been doing for years. They all see what's coming, which is why they kept fuming about it, even if we're only now learning about it through the announcements. Furthermore, I won't even play this clip. This man is completely deranged. It's Johnny Litecoin, as he calls himself. He claims that he has never witnessed an actual XRP transaction. The blockchain statistics are missing. In my opinion, XRP is a psychological trick designed to divert your attention. Additionally, he asserts that everything that doesn't require energy, such as mining, is useless. How do you generate these concepts? Consider it. Getting up in the morning and deciding to go out there and create a film to persuade people that proof of work is the way of the future is essential. It doesn't make sense at a time when energy consumption will need to be offset by carbon credits. Right from the start, it's a loser. That's what Litecoin is. In addition, these individuals believe that we XRP holders are just garbage. You must listen to this. For that reason, I felt it was crucial to compile this list of frequently asked questions for Bitcoin users, which they may utilize later on when choosing which kind of bankrupt shitcoin to employ to clean their restrooms. There are several questions here. In the future, why not flush your toilet with XRP, ADA, Cardano, or Hex holders? The first reason is that correctly cleaning toilets requires a certain skill level that most likely surpasses the limited cognitive capacities of practically all cryptocurrency owners, including XRP, Cardano, Hex, and others. Additionally, these individuals could know very little or nothing about personal hygiene. That's a different issue. In light of the fact that they are unable to clean themselves, they could find the idea of cleaning an external object, such as a toilet, to be very complicated and frustrating. Recall that these individuals genuinely think that the world will transition to a Hex standard. If you employ an XRP hold, it is the second argument. I'm so tired of playing that. These folks are really arrogant. Do you ever notice that? They only see Bitcoin. You know, their only source of income was Bitcoin. Because their favorite Michael Saylor informed them that all cryptocurrencies save Bitcoin are securities. They believe that all other cryptocurrencies are still securities, and they secretly think that. And you are unable to influence their decision. However, this is going to happen. There will be a competition for the top slot. In this cycle, XRP has a very good possibility of flipping Bitcoin. The market capitalization multiplier suggests otherwise, but many will continue to deny it. And now, everyone is forecasting XRP to reach $50 or higher. These Bitcoin maxis will go out of business after XRP overtakes all other cryptocurrencies. I can't wait for that to occur. Even though we aren't actual persons to them, they nonetheless consider us to be nothing more than toilet cleaners. They believe that no one genuinely owns XRP and that we are all bots. They're going to have a really unpleasant awakening. I will now play the first scene of this Tom Lee clip. He is discussing Ethereum's potential to reach $62,000. However, I would like you to see one aspect of this. Here is the price of Ethereum since 2018. Additionally, I'm shading two periods here, as you can see. We refer to these as bases.